Google Trends just served up a reality check so brutal it left the Ford CEO speechless. EV Meltdown is trending, hotter than a lithium battery on a July weekend, and Jim Farley isn't the only one sweating. What is it all about? In this video, we will discuss what's happening in the EV industry, the explosive shift in the entire EV landscape, and the tremors being felt from Silicon Valley to Wall Street. So stick around until the end, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel first. Not long ago, the general use of electric vehicles was on track and in line with the latest fashions. But new data shows that the road to electrification has had some unexpected problems, which backs up the worries of people who don't believe in electric vehicles. In the past few years, the number of electric cars has grown more slowly. This is because it is hard to make EV production more efficient, which has caused many companies, including big ones like Ford, to cut back on their investments in EVs. The industry as a whole has been affected by this slowdown. In the middle of all this EV chaos, Google Trends shows that interest in EVs has dropped dramatically, which surprises Ford's CEO. Because of this sudden change, let's look at some of the main reasons why the EV crash has surprised many in the industry. Many people thought Ford had safely jumped into the electric vehicle EV race at just the right time, hoping to take a stand in the market. They released a few all-electric types, but customers don't seem interested in them yet. It's becoming clear that Ford may not be able to reach its goal of selling a lot of electric vehicles anytime soon. The company seems to be having trouble making EVs as efficiently as possible, which has cost them a lot of money, about $32,000 for every EV they sold in the second quarter. Because of this, Ford CEO Jim Farley decided it would be wise to cut back on investments in EV technology. Emmanuel Rosner from Deutsche Bank raised worries about how affordable EVs are, saying that most automakers still haven't figured out how to make these cars affordable. This makes it harder for the EV market to make quick progress, which could soon hurt their earnings and stock prices. Ford is now putting its money and time into creating new models that still use internal combustion engines instead of investing in electric cars that are losing money. This change is seen as a move towards hybrid vehicles, which could mean that plans to make more cars electric will take longer to come together. Ford hasn't said much about its electric vehicle goals in recent months, but Farley said that the company will focus a lot on quadrupling sales of gas-electric hybrid cars over the next 5 years. This strategic focus on hybrid cars shows a significant change in Ford's thinking in light of the problems they face in the EV market. Also, the company recently changed its yearly pre-tax profit expectations. It made analysts think earnings would drop significantly in the year's second half compared to the first. Colin Langan, an expert at Wells Fargo, saw a clear trend as the amount of money lost dropped from $7.2 billion in the first half to an expected $4.3 billion in the second half. Recently, Ford hit the brakes and chopped down one of its 3 shifts at the plants producing the all-electric F-150. This truck was a huge deal in the EV world, and this move speaks volumes. Ford's not alone in this slowdown. General Motors also pumped the brakes on the electric versions of their Silverado and Sierra. They're still grappling with making the production process more cost-effective. Even Elon Musk, Tesla's bigwig, is concerned about the current trend. He's worried about high borrowing costs affecting the EV market. Musk pointed out that economic uncertainty makes people think twice about buying new cars, and he's unwilling to take his foot off the brake and speed into that uncertainty. To combat the drop in demand, Tesla started slashing prices, setting off a chain reaction with other electric car startups like Lucid and Rivian, also seeing a dip in their stocks. Tom Narayan, the global auto analyst at RBC Capital Markets, sees this slowdown in a different light. He believes it's more about pricing and affordability than people rejecting EVs outright. It's a bump in the road, not a dead end. The electric vehicle craze initially exploded, attracting the high-earning, eco-conscious, and tech-savvy crowd. These early adopters were itching to hop on the electric car bandwagon, causing a massive surge in the industry. However, these people only comprise a small portion of the car-buying population. Most potential buyers are skeptical, playing it safe with their traditional gas-powered vehicles. For many, electric cars remain financially out of reach. As former Ford CEO Mark Fields mentioned, the demand for EVs is now cooling off as the early adopter phase begins to fade away. It's evident that despite car manufacturers, governments, and EV advocates pushing for electric cars, the average car buyer isn't sold on them yet due to various reasons. One of the biggest concerns that emerged with the mass production of EVs is the infamous range anxiety. Despite significant advancements in battery technology, EVs still fall short in this department. While some EVs boast ranges of 250 to 300 miles on a single charge, great for city rides, they struggle to keep up on longer journeys. This range gets even more unpredictable due to external factors like weather. Battery performance takes a significant hit in cold temperatures, reducing the real-life range by up to 40% in some cases. Additionally, under heavy use like towing or off-roading, the range dwindles further. For instance, the F-150 Lightning, known for its impressive range, experienced a 25% drop in range during a towing test, painting a concerning picture for practical everyday use. The inability to sway the standard buyer towards EVs ties back to many issues, from price and infrastructure concerns to performance discrepancies between EVs and their gas-powered counterparts. As the electric car industry grapples with these challenges, it's clear that while the initial enthusiasm soared, the road to widespread EV adoption is still an uphill climb. Mark Field came up with a brilliant new word: charging worry. Really, it hits the nail on the head. If you don't drive a Tesla, it can be tough to find charging sites. Supercharging stations are great for Tesla users, but it's not so great for people who drive Ford, Chevy, or other electric cars. Sadly, public charge networks aren't as great. Planning a long trip in an electric vehicle, EV, requires careful planning, considering the need for multiple charging stops. And even when you find a station, get ready to wait. Most public chargers aren't speedy, so be prepared to kill at least 30 minutes or more on each recharge. These practical hiccups are what make folks raise an eyebrow at electric cars. Don't forget that most Americans live in flats that don't have their own garages. What about charging at home overnight? Many people can't even think about plugging in their car at night if they don't have home chargers in their shed. The lack of charging points and these practical issues play a big role in people's doubts about electric cars. The average driver might not switch to an EV until these infrastructure holes are filled. When it all boils down to it, the price is a major deal breaker for most folks eyeing electric cars. Sure, these vehicles promise lower maintenance costs on paper, but what about the upfront price tag? It's just way too steep for the average buyer. Let's be real. The cost of an average electric vehicle still outweighs that of a similar gas-powered car by a fair margin. And that's the main roadblock keeping the middle class from diving headfirst into the world of batteries. They're just not ready for such a radical shift that could completely revolutionize owning a car. And here's the kicker: most companies targeted rich, early adopters with their initial EV models. Luxury and high performance seem to be the name of the game, but let's face it, that's not what the masses seek. Mainstream EVs are rare, buried under the shadow of luxurious six-figure priced electric cars. What's even more telling, despite the sky-high prices, even these extravagant electric cars aren't precisely moneymakers for automakers. Yes, you heard that right. Most car companies are still bleeding cash on EVs. The EV expansion might hit a speed bump until they sort out these production efficiency hiccups. Remember what Mark Fields mentioned? The EV market is acting like the old-school auto industry, slashing prices, piling up inventory, and throwing in more incentives to pump up demand. Car makers are stepping back, dialing down investments from where they stood half a year ago. It's becoming a tougher ride for everyone involved in the EV game. The transition will take way longer than anyone had on their cards. So, until the price decreases and these cars become a little friendlier on the wallet, the EV journey might take a slow and winding road. Now, what's your take on this? Do let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe to our channel for more such exciting videos and share them with your circle. See you in the next video.